Good day, gamers. Today I'm going to quickly go over how to do trouble brewing somewhat efficiently without using any alts. This actually might get screwed over because this guy entered, but so essentially what you want to do is you want to get the trouble brewing, so you can use the minigame teleport to trouble brewing with the cabin fever quest completed. And to enter a game, you can simply right click on this guy to join a team. But however, I would recommend always joining red team because red team, there's currently a bug in the in trouble ring where when the game starts, you can only enter the game in red team. I'm not sure why that is the case, and I don't know why Jackix hasn't fixed it yet. So like these two guys here will probably not join until the mid game point, but I can join whenever after a minute of AFKing here. So once I enter, I'll show you what to do. It's very, very simple. Now we just wait. There we go. So we essentially just entered the game late, which has some benefits, and I'll show you those benefits later. So what I do first things first is you come over here to this workbench, you grab a bunch of buckets, fill them up with water, and then you dump them in the hopper upstairs. Very tedious task. It takes around 4 minutes to do it. So you want to make sure you have at least 4 minutes till the end of the game to set it up. So as you can see, I have 6 minutes left, so that's a lot of time. Now there's also another bug that I'm not sure why it occurs, but sometimes you get half the pieces of 8 that you should be awarded. I've tried goofing around to see if it's related to when you enter the game, but I still haven't figured it out. Come over here, you can zoom in your camera to get it faster, and you can put 1 bucket per tick. So it takes around 15 seconds to dump all these 25 buckets, and you repeat this 4 times. So essentially how it works is you get 1 piece of 8 per action you perform, and there's many things you can do to do actions, like playing the minigame correctly, but the fastest way to get actions is just fill buckets. So that's what most people do. It's the other methods are a lot longer and more complicated. Now another thing to note too is if your team ends up making a rum, everyone in the team is awarded an extra 2 pieces of 8. So this could be worth going for if you want to actually play the mini game and get a couple extra pieces of 8. But I wouldn't say it's worth your effort. The way I see trouble brewing right now is mostly just an AFK thing. So whenever I'm bored and I want to chill, I just do some trouble brewing. There's 30 slots to collect, and I can go over those later. So for the pieces of 8 per hour, now of course over here I'm not using any alts, so I'm getting the bare minimum that's possible. But with the use of alts, you can double or even triple your pieces of 8s per hour by starting games in other worlds and hopping over to them. But that's just a lot of extra work because you would have to set up multiple alts that all have the cabin fever quest line done. I have 1 alt with the quest line done, but that's not enough. So that's why I just can't be asked right now with doing this. And another thing too that you can take advantage of is after the game, which I'll show you once the game finishes, you can do some activities to gain some XP without actually losing any time. So if you do the calculations with my method, which is not using any alts, you get 100 pieces of 8 per game. Now this does not assume that you get extra, which you might. And a game takes 20 minutes, and there's a 3-minute waiting period between each game. So each game actually takes 23 minutes. And if you do the calculations on that, it gives you 261 pieces of 8 per hour. And to green log the collection log of trouble brewing, which has a total of 30 slots, it takes around 145 hours with this method, which is really insane, by the way. So you have to sit here for 145 hours. Now, of course, I'll show you after the game. You don't actually have to sit here for 145 hours. You can do things between games. And those things can be such as herb runs. You can do birdhouse runs. You can do you can skill bank stand. You can do crafting or herb lore, which is what I usually do. Oh, this guy blocked me, so I missed it. So over here, this is my last inventory. There's also a RuneLite plugin you can download on the plugin hub. I'm not sure what it's called. Let me check to see if I can see what it's called. So the plugin is called, it's just called Trouble Brewing. Okay, that's correct. And essentially it tells you how many buckets you put in, so you don't have to track. Usually, if you weren't using this plugin, you'd have to count 4 inventories. So you can see this one just told me I have 100 pieces of 8. So now I can AFK. Now the important thing when AFKing is to just not log out. So you have a 5-minute logout timer, so you just click once every 4.5 minutes and you should be fine. But with this method, you see this is not a concern because even if I do go leave my computer, I'll still get the pieces of 8 before logging out because there's 2 minutes left in the game. So now I wait my 2 minutes. So as you could tell, if I was doing other activities, I could have bank stand a little bit longer and gain more XP. Show you the collection log real quick. So for Trouble Ring, there are 30 slots, and the flags are the longest. This flag over here costs 6,000 pieces of 8, which is really a large amount. I'm currently about all the hats first, and then I'm going just through the collection log one at a time until I finish it. I'm not even close to halfway there, so this is very this is misrepresenting. So for instance, like these are 500 each and these are 1,000 each. So just all these here, this whole column is 5,000 pieces of 8, and that's not even enough to buy this flag. So this collection log is going to take a really long time to complete. But I'm okay with it. This is my AFK thing. Usually what I do is when I'm working from home, I would do games, and I would not do any bank standing in between. I would just send the game and AFK. And maybe get around 1,500 pieces of 8 for the whole day, which is pretty decent. I mean, I'll passively complete the collection log by doing so, and it's not very engaging, so I can still do my work on the side. Now, once the game ends, hopefully we get our full credits. We do. We get 100 pieces of 8. So you need to bank the pieces of 8 because you can't start another game with pieces of 8 in your inventory. Now what I usually do is I would skill here because you don't actually enter the game right away. So I would either make potions, or I also did a herb run, do birdhouse runs, but make sure you have your minigame teleport available when you do your runs. And you could, the way I keep my tracker too is once the game starts and I see the players join the game, I log out and log back in. So that way, the RuneLite tracker on the bottom here for your time logged in, it'll track how long my game has been going on. And then when I see there's around 6 minutes left, I enter, get my buckets quickly so I don't have to rush. If you can go earlier if you want to be safe and just relax more, it's really personal preference. And by doing so, you're getting effectively, like, it's as if your games are only 10 minutes long because you're skilling in between, which is technically 0 time. And you get to clean all your potions from your bank, so it's a really good mixture of skilling and collection log. And there's not much else to talk about here. I'm not going to do a full game again. You guys understand what's going on. It's essentially just an AFK simulator, which is fine. It's fun. So on that note, take care, boys, and have fun.